Hi everyone, it's Renee with Crafted by Renee. I wanted to share with you what I do. I actually mostly buy fabric that is pre-cut into the 2.5-inch strips that we use, but I do occasionally buy either fat quarters or my own fabric, and I do cut it into the strips depending on what craft I'm trying to make, or if I found a specific color. So I recently found a fat quarter pack that is called Starry Night, and I just absolutely love the colors of it. And so this one I decided I was going to turn into a rug, and so I bought it, so I will need to pre-cut it. So I was going to share with you how I go ahead and do that. Once I get the package open, I generally set up, or basically I will put the colors in the order that I plan on sewing them right off the top, because when you cut on a fat quarter, you're going to get 6 or 7. If they've cut them at actual 20 inches, you can get 7 cuts at 2.5 inches. You know, you can get a full 10 cuts, but a lot of times I find that the fat quarters aren't quite as wide, and so you actually don't get the full amount of width that you're looking for. So you definitely need 40 strips. So I would lay them out and determine how I am going to cut them up and what order that I'm going to put them in. So I generally will lay them out in the order I plan on sewing them. So I kind of like this darker color next to this one. There's a purplish color, and I'm gonna wait because I see more of blues at this point. So here, this one has some pinks and purples in it, so I think what I'll do for my purpose is put that there, and then this is gonna follow because it is gonna kind of match and sort of go in order. I like these stars to be next to this gold, so I'm going to do it that way. And then I have this solid blue and white, which really to me would need to go next to this one, since this is sort of a lighter blue with whites, and I don't like this. Has more purple in it than blue. And then to alternate somewhat, I'm not sure where I want to go with that one. But then I have the moon and the stars, and this is really a very, very blue color. So I'm going to probably put these 3 together. This will be my center. This will be right behind it, because I'm going to then start using the purples at the end, not at the beginning. This will be the back of the project. And then I'm going to say, this is my transition piece because it has more purple than it does blue. So that will be my transition piece to go here. And then this multicolor now kind of is gonna fit. Again, I still feel like it fits really with this one, and then this one really fits with this one. So I'm gonna leave this in this order. This will be the last piece, and I generally kind of go through and lay it out. And once I get that done, then I unfold them and fold them only in half, and I cut 2 or 3 at a time. So, you know, you can leave them folded, somewhat folded. This is already 2 layers. So I will lay the next one underneath. And so I will go up to 6 layers. So I'm going to put the first 6 layers down, and I'm not going to, I lay them right on top of each other and make this sort of as even as I could get it, because you can see they've been folded and cut right really evenly. So you don't need to work real hard at it. So I'm going to stack these fabrics in the order that I want them, top to bottom. So this is going to be my bottom. This will be my top piece, and I will work from there and work down. So I actually have a cutting mat here. My small cutting mat is 18 by 24. I'm going to set it right on the line. And then I have, the 2.5 cuts are the diamonds. They're already pre-done for you. So you can go ahead and cut them right by going into the diamond. There's my 2.5 inch strip at the diamond. You could do 2 inches. Those are at the stars. So, you can choose what size you're doing, but I'm going to do the 2.5. So I'm going to line everything up and make sure that it fits in the space. And this happens to be more than 20 inches. So I'm going to get a really good amount of cuts. And again, the edge is really already straight. I don't really need to make any adjustments here. Don't reinvent the wheel. So I'm going to get this piece of plastic is quite heavy, and so it's nice because it flattens out these 6 layers that you have. And again, I have just over 20 inches. I have about 21 inches, which is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up as best as I can. I have my handy dandy cutter, and I'm going to cut at every diamond, which is 2.5 inch. You've got your 2.5 inch strips. So I need to move this slightly over to the 20. And again, I'm going to line up my lines from my cutting mat. So my cutting mat is lined up with the lining of the fabric. And the fabric is lined up on the end of the mat on that line. I try to keep the fabric straight by putting it on the 1st inch line above. And again, there's no such thing as perfection. We come as close as we can. I'm going to overlap it just to make sure that I have everything covered. I'm going to set my 20-inch diamond straight onto this edge. And again, it's just a matter of lining it up perfectly so that you can get a good cut on every strip. And once you get it done, it does take a minute, but this setup goes pretty quickly, and then you would start cutting. So I am ready to cut, and look at what I did. I moved the fabric down again below the hole. So I need to rearrange my fabric back in line because I took too much time to arrange it. And I'm back on track here. My lines match up. I feel like I'm in a good position. And now I'm going to put my... Still feel like I need to move it down a little. So again, it's just a matter of lining it up the way you want it. And once you get your lines matching the way they should be, so I can see the fabric has shifted. You can see the line here is not lined up on a line. The fabric goes above on this side and below on this side. So again, it's a matter of getting your fabric shifted and making yourself set up so that you're set up for success and that all your cuts are usable and possible. So I am now set to roll, and away we go. The hole of this is designed to be tight to keep your blade from coming out of it. So don't think that I am struggling on purpose. This is by design. Once I get that blade in that hole, it stays there and it stays straight and stays tight for the fabric. And so you want that to be tight. You don't want it to be loose. I think over time, as you're using this, you do have to replace it because I do think it will become looser over time, and you generally will have to, do something about that basically. So I am doing my final cut for this 3, and I now have all the strips of the same color together. So I start piecing them. This is my excess. I'm just going to set it aside. I don't save the scraps because I don't ever have time to make other projects out of the scraps. So if you do save your scraps, that's great if you find uses for them. I really don't see the value in that. It just seems to, I feel like it's a collection. And you start having collections of, various things, and I just don't have space for it, and then I just feel like it's cluttery. But that's me. If you really love it, then go ahead and save your scraps and use it for something else. So I did end up with 7 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cuts, sorry. And so this will end up being this 10 pack of fat quarters will end up being half the project. So I did buy a second package in order to cut as well, and I will combine the colors together as I cut them, and then I will sew them together. It is a little more tedious when you use fat quarters because the fat quarters are too short, but actually you get some really nice bundles of fabric that are extremely, pretty colors and already matched for you, which is always amazing to have something already coordinated for you, and then you get to turn it into the project that you love. Hope this helps everybody. CraftedByRenee.com. Please note I am going to be at the Dallas Farmers Branch Convention Center on May 31st. Come see me there. I am going to be a vendor at the booth. You can come and see my products in person and meet me in person then. I would love to see you if you're in the DFW, Texas area. Otherwise, to everyone else, have a great day.